I just kind of wanted to create something to reflect characters in a book series I just finished reading. And they both had some sort of like unruly attitudes and very sort of punky characters. So I started off with this dialogue, "You're a f***ing idiot, tell me something I don't know." And I wasn't using a reference image at this point yet. I was just sort of sketching out what I thought they would look like in my head, based off general descriptions in the book series. And yeah, so we've got Andrew who's driving, and he's like sort of described as being a little bit shorter than the protagonist, Neil. And yeah, he's got blonde hair and sort of like German descent. But I accidentally made him look very like, I guess, childish, too youthful, because I wasn't using a reference image, so I hadn't like broadened up his shoulders yet at this point. And he looks sort of pixie-esque with the way that the nose was pointing. And yeah, the curve of his lips. So I gradually decided to change that. The pout I sort of added because I felt like that would express a bit more of a defiant attitude. And then I kept playing around with different sort of dialogues that I might be able to give them. So I did stuff about gods and worship, and because Neil's got a real punched up face, and Andrew's obviously driving him from somewhere, perhaps a fight or something. And yeah, so then I started sort of broadening it up, and I actually redrew everything with broader shoulders because the posture from the original sketch wasn't as good, and it didn't really align as older male, because Andrew, he's not old, but he's at least 20, so he would have broader shoulders. And then I went in and did the same thing with Neil, and altered his hair to make it look curly, because I don't remember if there are any descriptions of that in the book series, but I felt like curly hair would sort of match him, or at least wavy hair. I also was struggling a lot with the shirt here with Andrew, so I was trying to do some sort of line shading, but then it looked like he was wearing a leotard, and I was like, he wouldn't wear a leotard. So yeah, I just did some basic sort of lines, and I should have probably given him facial hair. I think that would have added some nice grit to his character, but I ended up taking that away. I mean, the sketchy lines as well sort of add that sort of aesthetic. And I really enjoyed drawing the smoke here. But yeah, the car bit, the window, I wasn't sure how to exactly portray that properly, so I just did something very basic. And I tried looking at it with and without the sort of shitty window in the back, and I kind of decided that the scene setting was necessary. And I was also playing around with shading a bit here in Neil's hair, because I wasn't sure yet if I was going to color the piece or not. So I was thinking maybe I'd do that, but then I didn't end up doing that. Yeah, so then I decided to not go with dialogue and instead just have a song playing on the radio, which is, so I've written out lyrics to Twilight by Elliott Smith. So it says, "You don't deserve to be lonely, but these drugs you've got won't make you feel better. Pretty soon you'll find it's the only little part of your life you're keeping together." Because there's a lot of substance abuse in the Vauxhall Court book series, and a lot of stuff, especially between Andrew and his friends, because they're all real kids who've had a rough time and a rough go of things. So here I decided that I would color it, and added the green background because that helps me see the colors better than on a white background. And it sort of adds a nice contrast between the pinks and the reds and all that of the skin tones. And you can also see the white highlights much better with the green background. So then I did Andrew's blonde hair, and Neil's supposed to have red hair at this point, or sort of auburn hair, so maybe a bit darker. But I just went with this shade because that's what it felt like. And yeah. So this is the finished piece. Yeah.